Okay, we're going to start with Punch this morning. Crisis rocks Rivers, Oyo, Benue, APC factions reject delegates lists. Subscribers kick as FG slams 90 billion naira new tax on phone calls. Nigerians spent $221 million on foreign education in 3 months, says CBN report. We have frozen accounts of 50 firms operating loan apps, says FCCPS boss. Deborah's death. Protesting Abuja, Kaduna, Benue, Plateau, Osun churches defy government's ban, condemn jungle justice. Wike G3 Dagogo is contesting governorship. Rivers PDP may not have candidates for election, says lawyer. Mechanic Union ex-chairman assaults 2 Lagos panel beaters and victims go dumb. 1 killed as violence parallel polls marked PDP primaries. Children at risk of severe monkeypox cases, says NCDC. Okay, which stories are we taking in Punch? I think we have 2 stories.
So the federal government has mandated all employees and employers in public, private and informal sectors to have access to health insurance. This is good news because normally, according to the Act of 2004, the informal sectors were not captured. So the president signed the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2021 last week, which repeals the Act of 2004. According to him, he said this is to help Nigeria achieve universal health coverage, which is a sustainable development goal by 2030. Now, every state that has established a state health insurance or contributory scheme and complies with this act shall be eligible to participate in the Basic Health Care Provision Fund and all the other numerous benefits. The NHIS will ensure strict compliance, and they said every employer of labor will be contributing 10% of basic salaries as medical allowance to allow their workers have access to this health insurance.
Okay, so I have the story of the Christian Association of Nigeria, especially the Plateau, Benue offices are insisting that they're going to go ahead with the protests concerning the unjustifiable murder of Deborah Yakubu. And, you know, the last time we took the story, we had heard that state governments, especially Plateau State, Kaduna State, and some of the northern states had said that, you know, they had outlawed protests in their states because of how volatile those areas can be, and they didn't want a situation where these protests would be hijacked by hoodlums, you know, and then turned to something else. But CAN is insisting that they will go ahead with a protest, that there won't be a procession, but a protest within the secretariat. Some states are still insisting, especially in Borno State, still insisting that nothing of the sort should go ahead. CAN, on the other hand, say they are not aware of some of these laws, but they're going to try and keep it within, you know, the premises. So let's just see what the compromise will be. The truth is that, yes, it's important that we stand up for what is right and ask for justice, but knowing how sensitive these areas can be, can we have the government now sort of give them security to protect the protests happening within the secretariat from being, you know, hijacked?
Well, I will take the story of good news for those that have been clamoring and have been clamoring concerning loan apps. The chairman, chief executive officer for the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, somebody known as the Consumer Protection Council, Babatunde Ireka, has announced, we did an interview with Punch, and he mentioned how the firm has closed down 50, they've frozen the accounts of 50 loan apps, and that they have engaged with 10. And they can say for a fact that 60%, there's been 60% reduction in those malicious text messages and WhatsApp messages. I can attest to the fact that I haven't gotten as many as before. And they said they're in talks with 10 companies. They've shut down 12 apps from Google Store that have found that Gooding loan itself is not bad. Without proper documentation and malicious process of withdrawing, getting back the loans they're giving out is where the problem comes in, and they're doing all they can. They claim, he says they're not late to the party in terms of regulating that agency because they have done a whole lot within a short time. They started looking into the loan apps, and I'm really happy about this.
Okay, so a pandemonium went down in Ayobo, the area of Lagos State, on Saturday, when members of the Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association got into a fight. 2 people were left dumb. So what happened was that the former chairman of the mechanics, the current executives went to a land. It was over a land dispute. So the current executives went to a land trying to see how to hand over the land to certain construction workers. But the former chairman of the Mechanics Association came to that land to contend with them, saying that they cannot hand over the land to somebody else. And they were saying, you're an ex-chairman, you have no business here. But then the fight happened. The former chairman punched them and brought out a ring and punched them with a ring. And the momently they fell down, they were almost unconscious, their eyes went wide open, they rushed them to the hospital, and both of them went dumb.
Whoa.
And they had to start.
It was a charm.
Yeah, it was a charm, the ring. And they were now using their hands for sign to communicate. They couldn't speak anymore. And that's what happened in Ayobo yesterday. Wow.
Okay.
See, as if political season, as if this political is not hard enough. You know, as if Nigeria is not hard enough. You don't have these matters. It's just crazy. Okay, let's move on quickly now to other papers. I should have Punch. I just have Punch. There's a Nation. Drama clashes upset as PDP reps assembly primaries. Drama, okay. So APC insists on screening of Jonathan and Emefiele and Ngige. Gunmen kill 4 kids, mom 2 others. Oh, my Lord. 4 bodies recovered in collapsed building, Lagos building. Lagos Arewa community Okada restriction. And firms, businesses await CBN's decision on rates. Okay, which story are we taking in the Nation?
I'm curious about the APC drama. So
I wasn't interested. You have the story?
No, I thought you were reading it.
No, the one on Emefiele. I think I'll take that story.
So let me take the Black Sunday that happened in Anambra State. It was really a very painful incident. So 7 persons were killed in various locations in the state. Out of these 7, I think 4 of them were siblings, including their mother. And the attack took place at Isolo in Urumba North Council. The other 2 persons were killed in Abatete. The details were a bit sketchy at the time of the report, so they didn't really tell us what happened exactly. But the police command said they will talk about it when they get a clearer directive on what has happened. NDLEA
have arrested a man called Okechukwu Francis Amechi. He is a Brazilian returnee. He's a Nigerian that's lived in Brazil and was on his way back to Nigeria. He was caught with 24 parcels of cocaine that he had hidden within tires for a lawnmower. It says that, NDLEA says after doing some investigation, they found out that he was once arrested in Brazil for drug-related offenses, and after he has served his jail term, decided to come back to Nigeria with these parcels of cocaine in his possession. He claims that it was given to him by church members to bring to his brothers, because on the parcels they had things, they were labeled, "Oh Lord, have mercy." Another one was "In God We Trust." Another one was "Ijoma." So it's just, really interesting to see that someone who was convicted for these drug offenses did not learn anything from his jail time, decided to maybe take the very last one and bring to Nigeria, and then was finally caught. Well done, NDLEA. And they gave also other places that they've been working across Nigeria and all the drugs that they have seized in the past week.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Yes, the story in Nation.
There's this apprehension concerning where the CBN will slide the monetary policy's interest rate to. We've had inflation back to back, and according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the inflation rate has been increasing steadily for the past 8 months. And also, because of that, we might need to review our interest rate to curtail the inflation. Now, the banks and everybody and the people within the monetary circle are aware that there's a 2-day meeting to review the economy and decide on exigent monetary policies in view of the national and global outlook. Since September 2020, we have maintained the same interest rates, and the banks and other financial agencies are trying to be careful to see, is it going to swing upwards or downwards? Bismarck Rwani's reports concerning the economy was it won't be strange if the CBN decides to increase loan, because most of the governments around the world have had to increase the interest rates just so that they can reduce inflation. I'm waiting to see the way they will swing after this meeting. I just think it's not the right time to just say, let's maintain. When we review, we must make decisions to curtail. Dollar is also 610.
Hey,
as of.
I saw it this morning.
Yes, dollar is 610.
Oh.
$1, 610 naira.
So you think you have money saved in the bank? The value is just dropping every day.
Oh, my shame.
Hey, 610.
What am I saying?
You're telling us this story, please.
No,
Are you ready?
Don't worry, it's just drama. There's nothing happening. The National Working Committee, they put together a presidential a selection panel that they're going to be screened, not selection. Sorry, I'm just going, this dollar thing is affecting, it's affecting my subconscious. Okay, so there's a 7-man panel that they're going to be screening the presidential aspirants. So what happened was that they included the list of everybody who has paid for form. Although these 4 people, the former vice president, former president,
yes.
Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Christine Gige, the Minister of Labour, the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, and the president of the Africa Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina. The 4 had picked up tickets, although people paid for the tickets on their behalf. But because they didn't submit, people just assumed that they're not part of the race. But the NWC is saying that because they had already paid for the tickets, they will still be screened. They never submitted. But either way, they are still part of the names that will be screened. So the panel, the screening starts tomorrow. So right now it's confirmed like 21 of all of them. There were 24. 21 of the others, including Ashwaju, Oshimbajo, Amechi, and others, will be screened. To see if they had
how this would affect the resignation they are meant to resign.
So they did not resign. That's the issue, because they were supposed not to resign. They were supposed to officially write to the National Working Committee that we are no longer running. So they didn't.
They left it.
They left it. They just didn't submit. So that's why it's still in the limbo. But that's why they're still being screened. We don't know what that's gonna mean. Okay, let's take another story. The Nigerian Tribune. APC again aborts screening of presidential aspirants. Naira slashed into 610 to the dollar. ASU strike, security tightened at international airports. Soludo places 10 million naira bounty on killers of Anambra lawmaker. Electoral Act, 5 reasons Buhari has not signed the amendment. Primaries loyalty 2019 experience pushing Bala Mohammed ahead of other 6 PDP members. Buratai woos Borno governor delegates for Amechi. And Nigerian dealers turn to accidental cars for profit. Okay, which story you're starting with in Tribune?
Yes, so there's been heavy presence of security operatives at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport and other airports across the country as a result of the threat issued by the Nigerian Association of National Association of Nigerian Students and also National Association of University Students. They collaborated to issue the threat, and they said they were going to be shutting down all international airports across the country if the government refuses to call off the ASU strike. Now, security operatives are being mandated to forestall any form of disruption from these students. They've been having a series of meetings with the airport authorities and security agencies. They also said that all entry points leading to the airport have been manned by security officials. All vehicles that are headed in that direction are being put under surveillance. And this is not only happening at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. It's also happening in Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, and Enugu.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have the Lagos State Ariwa community has charged his members to obey, all the existing laws within the state, and through their community, their council called the Lagos State Ariwa Community General Assembly, they had a meeting, and also at the end of that meeting, they had a 9-point agenda, communique, and one, it was, to let the Lagos State government know that the Ariwa community is a law-abiding community, and that even these laws concerning the Okada ban, they are charging all their members to make sure that they are committed to following the laws of Lagos State. But also they're asking the Nigerian Immigration Service to do a better job of manning our borders and doing their jobs around the borders, because they are alleging that there are so many people that are coming in who are foreigners. They're not Nigerians. They're coming in from Niger, Cameroon, and these people are criminal elements who are using the Okada business, as a cover, and that the NIS should do a better job of trying to fish these people out. But that as a community, they have lived in Lagos, peacefully for many years, and will continue to do so, and they continue to support the Lagos state government.
Okay,
so
you want to tell the story?
Yes, there's the story regarding why the president hasn't signed the amendment to the Electoral Act. The first part of the story, according to the Tribune, was talking about the PDP's allegation that the president wants to spend longer time in office. If he doesn't accede to this bill at the right time, he would have to be in the office beyond May 29th. And for them, they smell foul play. But another part of this is that there are many changes. The changes would affect how soon they would need to submit the details of their candidates. It would affect the delegates, especially for APC. One of the reasons they said here was that the statutory delegates, which is in the new amendment, would make the number of delegates move from 2,200 to about 12,000 delegates, which will make it extremely expensive for aspirants, even in terms of logistics and all of that. So the amendments would cost more money. The amendments might cause delay. And so some people are not a fan of the amendment, while others are pushing for the amendment. I just feel like the president should decide what he wants to do so that we can move. He's not going to assent to it. Don't just make it clear, I will not, so that people that are thinking and sitting on that fence will know what to do. We can't afford this. Is about a year from a handover, not even election. We are still trying to be sure which law we are going to use for the election. We don't know the law.
It's part of this indecision that stalls things
just
in this
say
country
what you want to do
and causes deaths because you don't make a decision on time. It happens
You don't
during
take a stand.
insecurity decisions. We're not very proactive in this country sometimes. Let's move on to the point. Aspirants waste multi-billion dollars on wild goose chase for primary votes as Buhari No Action Electoral Act shuts out statutory delegates. DSS operative testifies at coroner denies beating Osun policeman to death. Nigeria is one of the worst places to give birth, says Professor Kuti. Implosion imminent in APC over transparent, credible primaries. Okay. So just like you had said earlier, people are wasting their money trying to buy votes because we're currently in the current act does not allow statutory delegates to vote. So we need him to sign on time. If not, they're just wasting money. It's just very, very.
If he's not going to sign, he should not sign. Let us know. We are not going to sign this thing. But this indecision and last minutes,
it's not working. Yes. So an operative of the Department of State Service, that's DSS, Osun State Command, David Olowo Oroku, has denied the allegation that he beat a police sergeant named Rauf Fawale to a pulp, thereby causing his death. So while he was presenting his case in court, he said that what happened was on that particular day, he was at the bar, I think a Riverside bar, Riverside Lounge and Bar, Oshobo, having a drink when some people started at about midnight. He heard some people, fighting themselves, and all of a sudden they started throwing bottles. So he hid under the table and was trying to call his DSS counterparts to come, that something was happening here. All of a sudden, he saw that one of them had fallen on the floor, and then when police came, they brought him out from under the table and accused him, told him that he was... So I'm sure all the other people ran away, and so they found him there and accused him and took him to the hospital with the dead body. By the time they got there, they said... He was still trying to, he said he was in so much shock. He was still trying to explain to the policeman that I'm a DSS official. I just came here to have a drink. I have no hand in this. The woman was shutting her down. And by the time they got to the hospital, they made him pay $30,500 for, for the dead person in the hospital. And then he went home. And afterwards, DSS invited him and said they were going to investigate him. They kept him for 3 weeks locked up while they were doing their internal trial. And he's saying to the court that nobody is hearing him out. They're not allowing him present his evidence, that he doesn't know why DSS is thinking he's guilty, that he's really not guilty. So the judge has adjourned the case to May 25th.
Right. There's one more story in the point. A microfinance bank has found itself in, as they say, legal web with a customer who was once a senator. This is Senator Sylvanus Ngele. he had gotten an overdraft from this microfinance bank to acquire landed property, and at I think it was 9 million naira overdraft to be paid back over 12 months, and at a 4% interest rate. Anyway, they said by the expiration of the 12 months, he had not paid up for whatever reason, and the bank went ahead to sell that property he had put down as collateral, and someone bought it, but he took them to court. Luckily for him, the court gave judgment in his favor, where the bank was wrong for selling it without a proper court statement on foreclosure on that property. And so they did not take the right legal steps before they resold that property. And so they've been asked to give him back his property. And also for the man who bought it, they have been asked to refund the money and also pay 500,000 naira to that person for damages. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back with our hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.